What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking simply the rookie running backs in fantasy football this year that can win you your league. So make sure to tune in. If you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section. Agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let us start this thing off. And as you can see, I have pulled up the consensus PPR fantasy football rookie rankings here for the 2025 fantasy football season. Rookie running backs per fantasy pros. I like this illustration just because I think the breakdown itself, it shows you where some of these guys are currently ranked on a consensus basis, best case, worst case scenario. And then I'll just talk about some of the guys they're going around with in regards to draft capital. So let's kick it off, right? And look, to nobody's surprise, this is the cookie cutter name. This is the name that you all expect. It's chalk, but it's Ashton Jeanty. Like, there's a reason why the worst ranking he has is 1 and the best is 1. Like, no standard deviation. Ashton Jeanty is going to be the cream of the crop as far as the rookie running back class is concerned for the 2025 fantasy football season and just NFL season in general. That's what happens when you have that type of draft capital nowadays. Again, that being top 10 draft capital in 2025 in the NFL draft for the running back position. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, there's times when people say a running back shouldn't be drafted in the first round, period. Yet, Jeanty was a top 10 selection there. So, with that being said, right, like, that's the biggest thing he has going for him. I think also, right now, it's pretty crazy to me that, like, you can still get, depending on the size of the league, Ashton Jeanty, like, in the early second round. I think that's an absolute steal. Again, it'll depend on how your league values the running back position, rookie running backs too. But I will say, I think right now we're obviously doing this breakdown in June. Like, there's still a long ways to go. Most fantasy football folks don't really get into the deep of it until August, September, right? So that's when we're really going to see what that ADP for Jeanty will look like. I think at that point in time, he will be a pretty much slam dunk first round pick, probably between like picks 8 and 10, something like that. But right now, right, going in the early second round, and if that stands, like, you could argue could be the steal of your draft. And you've got the upgraded quarterback in Vegas with Geno Smith. Like, he's no, world beater or anything like that, but he brings some stability to that offense, which for fantasy football purposes, sometimes that is all you need. There's basically zero competition there in Vegas behind Jeanty. He's going to get all the opportunities, rushing, catching the ball as well. So I really like Jeanty, and, but that's nothing new, right? Let's kind of go a little bit further down this list. I'm going to talk 4 running backs total here for this rookie class. I'm going to talk about Quinshon Judkins next for the Cleveland Browns. So again, the Browns, they committed early draft capital, early second round selection for Judkins. Nick Chubb no longer there, end of an era. But the injuries just caught up to him, right? Like, Jerome Ford, the veteran, he's still there. And maybe for a couple weeks to kick off the season, he will be the preferred option. But, like, I can get Quinshon Judkins, like, in the 6th or 7th round right now. So I'm not really sweating it too much. Yes, I know there are a lot of quarterbacks in Cleveland, so you don't know who is going to be manning this offense. But, like, I think it'll end up being Flacco more likely than not. Like, if there's an injury there, then that'll get interesting, right? But you could argue, again, depends what the Browns end up doing, but, like, Shadur Sanders, if he ends up being the guy, I think a pretty solid backup option. The Browns want to run the football. They want to take away pressure from whoever the quarterback is. Like, right? They've got two rookies there. If it's a rookie, they don't want to force the rookie to do too much. If it's Joe Flacco, they don't want to force basically old man Flacco to do too much. So, again, the rushing game here will be a big focal point, as has been the case for Cleveland in general. So, I think the Browns, they tip their hand a little bit, right? Like, they're going to go with the young rusher. They're going to give him the opportunities. Maybe he can be that Nick Chubb replacement long term. Hopefully can turn into like Chubb 2.0. We'll see. Hopefully better pass catcher as far as that is concerned. But yeah, Judkins, when you look at the draft capital, when you look at what the Browns want to do, when you look at where his current ADP is, I think he is a high upside guy, low risk type of selection. Here you see he's ranked as the 4th overall rookie running back. Like, I don't think Hampton or Travion Henderson should be ahead of him. And I can make the case for a couple of other rookie rushers here. Like Hampton, the Chargers just signed Najee Harris. Like, if Najee Harris wasn't signed, then yeah, I can get on the Omarion Hampton train. Travion Henderson, like Ramondre Stevenson is still there, so I don't think he's going to fully break out. So yeah, I think you could make the case Judkins should be above both of them. Then let's skip down to number 6, RJ Harvey. If you guys have been following my fantasy football mock drafts here to kick off the early fantasy football season, you know how much I love Harvey. I've said he is my second favorite rookie running back behind Jeanty. And the fact that he ranked 6th overall, I think is a travesty. His ADP, I guarantee you, will only continue to go up. And like, I look at that Denver offense. To me, Denver is a really solid team. You've got a really good head coach in Peyton who wants to utilize the running backs. You've got a really good defense, just top to bottom, a good squad. Bo Nix showed that, he could be a good game manager last year and he can get the job done. Like, maybe some of his rushing upside is going to take away opportunities from Harvey, but the fact that Denver backfield right now, like no more Javonte Williams, didn't really do too much in free agency at that position. Harvey's the guy. Like, it is, I fully expect RJ Harvey to be the week 1, like, starter where he gets, again, it'll depend a little bit on game script and stuff like that. And unless like he really struggles in preseason or, training camp, but the guy should be getting between 15 and 20 carries a game. So, I really, really like this situation for Harvey. I don't know how, you don't list him as a top 5 guy in the rookie running back class for fantasy football purposes. Like, yes, he's a little bit older than some of the other rookie running backs, but, that also equates to some more experience, to coaches trusting you a little bit more. So for that reason, I really like RJ Harvey. Like, his ADP is going, I would argue, I've seen him more often than not drafted ahead of Quinshon Judkins. So probably a 5th, 6th round selection. And I think that will continue to slightly rise once we get closer to the start of the year. But Harvey, again, in terms of bang for your buck, I like him more than Ashton Jeanty, because with Jeanty, you got to spend a 1st, 2nd round pick. Harvey, you can get in the 5th, 6th round. So to me, awesome situation. And then the final name here on our list, let's talk Cam Skattebo, New York Giants. I think he's a really interesting guy. So with him, obviously you've got Tyrone Tracy, who broke out last year and ended up leading the Giants in that running back room. So I don't necessarily think that Tracy is going away, but I mean, I've been listening to the beat reporters. I've been listening, to those scouts over there in New York, and it's like, don't be surprised if this thing starts out as a committee because of what Skattebo can do, like right out of the gate. And don't be surprised if Skattebo has the slight edge on Tracy. And if anything, like, I think that can only grow as the season progresses. Now, again, I will say, like, once we get past RJ Harvey here, or at least the way Fantasy Pro has these rankings, you're not looking at like bona fide starters that will get for sure opportunities. Like, here with Tootin with the Jaguars, like he's behind two other guys. With Blue in Dallas, he's behind a bunch of guys in Dallas. So after this top 6 list, it's mostly backups, right? But Skattebo by far and away has the highest upside out of these backups. He had a really good college season, just like a proven professional. So I'm really intrigued by him. He's not going to cost you all that much. Like going in the 8th round, something like that, if you want to take a flyer on him. I think it's worth it depending on, obviously what your roster looks like up until that point. So I think Skattebo is really interesting. Probably out of all the names that we mentioned, he's obviously the biggest dart throw. He's going to be the guy that if he breaks out, it'll be probably towards the end of the season. But I mean, he is one injury away to Tyrone Tracy from like being the unquestioned number 1 guy. Again, you can't really say that for sure with the guys after here. Like they're potentially 3rd on the depth chart after the starters on the respective teams. Skattebo is the firm number 2 with the potential to be the number 1, even without Tracy getting injured. So I like that for him. Obviously, I like the quarterback upgrade in New York. That'll help everybody. So for that reason, I did want to kind of round this thing out with Skattebo. But again, Jeanty, Judkins, Harvey, Skattebo, I think those are the names you must know for the rookie running backs this 2025 fantasy football season. Again, obviously, everyone will know Jeanty, but it's the names afterwards that we broke down that I think are really, really intriguing. And the great thing is you don't have to pay a high-end draft capital for them like you do with Jeanty. So let's keep an eye out for that as we get closer and closer to the start of the fantasy season. But in the meantime, if you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comments. Agree, disagree, your thoughts on this rookie running back class for the 2025 fantasy football season in general. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.